It's a good ball played in for Tony Morley. Oh, he missed it! It is! Peekaboo! Villa in the lead!
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Villa Forever podcast. I am your host, Chad Williams. Please remember to make sure to subscribe on this video and make sure to give this podcast the thumbs up. Aaron Thornton, who is the host of the Football Brief. This is the Avfc Weekly Recap, your weekly dose of Aston Villa news and headlines. Aston Villa sweep past Spurs into the FA Cup fifth round, and it's actually the first time Aston Villa got in the fifth round after 10 years, and it finished Aston Villa 2, Tottenham Hotspur 1, and thanks to goals from local heroes Jacob Ramsey and Morgan Rogers gave us the victory last night, and it's nice to get through to the next round. Please have you on the show, Aaron. How are you?
Thank you for having me. As always, Chad, it's always a pleasure. I'm doing much better this week than last week, following Aston Villa's heroic victory against Tottenham yesterday. So I'm looking forward to dissecting this one. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Well, I was at the game yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful football display. I love the way though we played some one-touch football. Some of the triangles we played. Well, I actually think, I know it was only 2-1, but I would actually say that was probably the best performance of the season, arguably.
Wow.
At
Yeah.
least one of them.
Yeah. I'm going to say over the Bayern Munich. I mean, I feel like you've been to all the really important games.
Yeah.
How did it rank to against the Bayern Munich game?
So the Bayern Munich was at the top, but this one was up there. I thought, as in terms of the complete performance, I think.
Yeah. It looked that way. I was watching it obviously over in New York on the TV, and I agree with you. I think it reminded me of a performance from last year, a lot more fluid, a lot more dynamic. Passes were getting stronger together, and like you just said, then a lot of the one-touch passing was beautiful to watch. So yeah, I think hopefully if we can carry on playing that way, we can cause some damage to other teams.
And really, I mean, that scoreline, I mean, it could have been more quite easily.
Yeah.
But we run Spurs around, really, I mean, because of so much problems. And what I like about it, we straight on the front foot. And we scored that goal like in the first minute for Jacob Ramsey. And he found that space straight away.
Yeah, isn't it just lovely thing to watch when Jacob Ramsey, now that he's clear of his injuries, when he's fit and on form, he's some player, isn't he? And I think, like you just said, then getting into those positions, I mean, the goal itself, the sort of pass into Rodgers and the turn to break the lines and then to drive and then pass, it was just so fluid, and I think it really caught Spurs out. I mean, I know they would have done their homework, but I think Big Andrew would have been disappointed that we managed to cut through them so early on. And I think there was an excuse as well that they did play on Thursday, so maybe they weren't as sharp as they needed to be. But it was a really, really good goal. I mean, it wasn't a great save from the goalkeeper, but the fact that Ramsey got in the position was really good to see.
And what I like about Ramsey is the way he gets into tight spaces. The way he does that close dribbling control. I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, mate.
He was everywhere, covering every blade of grass.
Yeah, really good player.
That's it. He's from Great Bar.
I used to live there back in the day.
Yeah, it's a local lad.
Local lad. It's really good to see. Seeing a lot of the local. Well, Morgan Rogers. Obviously, I know
You got
he's
Rogers Hales, Owen.
Hales Owen. Yeah, and you got Ramsey. It's just good to see them sort of making such an impression. And I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you've had chance to see the interview after the game. BBC were interviewing them, and wow, the mentality for such young lads. Their interview was so refreshing, and they were talking about the new signings, and they were just talking about how the competition's healthy and that it pushes them on to be even greater, and they've got role models they can learn off, and just really, really articulate and really mature responses from two young men. So we're really lucky and blessed to have them, I think, and they've got the right manager in Emery to guide them to greatness.
And a lot of young players coming through. They'll be looking up to those lads. They'll be looking up to like Morgan Rogers and Ramsey.
Yeah, it's important though, isn't it? Because I think, especially with PSR and all that stuff going on at the minute, it's important to have homegrown players playing. And for that reason that you just mentioned, for other youngsters to look up and see Ramsey, and I know Rogers didn't come from our academy, but he's still a young player. For them to look up and be like, wow, so we can make it. It is possible, So it's you're spot on with that comment. I think it's really important to have a few faces in and around that squad. So long may it continue.
And when we scored that first goal, that really set the tone for the guy. And like that sort of lifted the crowd. And also, I thought Marlon, he was key to that goal as well.
He was good, wasn't he, Marlon? He was very good, I thought. What was it like watching him live?
Oh, he was great. See, he's got so much pace. And the way he just drives at like defenders, he goes past them easily. I want to see more of Marlon still onward. It's good. We're going to see more of him. Yeah, I'm going to see more of him.
Oh, I've got you back. Sorry, for some reason it went
Huh?
blank then.
Yeah,
I've got
I want to see more of Marlon.
Yeah, I was watching him, and I don't know. He has a bit of both of Duran and Watkins. He's got energy. He can be a bit of a bully, but he's quite nice on the ball. He's got pace, and I think I agree with you. I was really really impressed with his link up play up top, and he's sort of holding the ball up and playing Ramsey in, playing Rogers in, and then Bailey as well. Like it was really really fluid, a fluid front line for that first half, and I thought Marlon was key to that. So I'm really looking forward to um, seeing him play more.
Good Marlon, he played really well in the previous game against Wolves as well.
Yeah, he did. He did, and I think we've only seen glimpses, haven't we? Because he's come off the bench a couple of times, or so it's like, and even in those few minutes, he's looked decent. But I agree with you. I thought yesterday, I was really impressed with him. He was almost my man of the match, but I had somebody else in that
Yeah.
position. But he was very, very close.
I tell you what, also playing well. Andres Garcia. I thought he put in a great performance. And I hope you get more minutes under his belt.
Yeah, yeah. Again, he surprised me actually, because I think, I mean, it just shows the trust that Emery has in him, and if you notice as the game went on, the players were giving him the ball more, and I think his confidence was clear to see as the game went on, because he was getting forward more, he was overlapping, going past Bailey to try and get that ball. He just looked very solid, and when there was no passes on, he didn't try and do the impossible. He just played it back and he was safe. And I
Yeah.
think for him, it'll do his confidence a world of good.
And as well, he played for a Spanish second division team, Levante. So, it's about, I don't think Emery can improve him even more. You've got so much potential.
Yeah, it's quite the step up, isn't it? Do you think? I was thinking this yesterday, and I'm sure you'll touch on new signings, but do you
Yeah,
think when Asensio came on,
yeah,
like Garcia had a bit of a moment? Because if you think about it, I know they're
yeah,
both Spanish, and he probably looks up to Asensio like, wow, he's
yeah,
a great player. And like 1 minute, like a week ago or a month ago, sorry, I was playing League Two Spanish football, and now I'm in the Premier League, and I'm on the same wing as Asensio. Like for
yeah.
him, that must have been such a wow moment.
It's
Do you know what I mean?
amazing.
Yeah.
All the
So
way Garcia, I mean, gets forward, and I think he gets stuck in as well. He puts a few tackles with the Aston. He gets that ball line. I think he did really well.
yeah, no, I agree. I think having him and Matty Cash is a really solid couple of right backs, and yeah, I'm more than happy. He looks a lot more. I was always concerned why Nedeljkovic didn't really get the green light to start or have his run, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Garcia just looks a lot more solid, doesn't he?
he does. Yeah,
So yeah,
solid
very impressed.
performance.
Yeah, solid.
What you make of Berger's performance? He did well.
Do you know with Bogard? Yeah, I think he's growing with every game he plays because I remember the start of the season when he played. I think he started a couple of games and he didn't look bad, but he looked a bit shaky and didn't look fully convinced on
Yeah,
the ball, but still good. Whereas yesterday when I saw him, he looked really assured and a lot more dominant and a lot more confident of his own ability. And for someone who's been asked to play in like what is that? Is that his third position now this season? I
something
think he's
like that.
played
Yeah,
right back, centre defensive mid, centre back. I think whenever Emmy's asked him to do something, he's just got on and done it. And I think having players like that is really important in our squad. And I have to say, credit to him because he came on at a time where Tottenham could have been pushing to try and get a goal. So yeah, I was very impressed with him. What about you?
well, I think going back to what you said about Emery, he likes versatile players. I
Yeah.
mean, with Bergard, he could play a number of different positions. But what I like about Bergard is he's very composed on the ball. I thought he's always very calm. And as well, he showed a lot of confidence.
I think that's the key point there, Chad, is that he was very calm, and there was a good calm presence about him on the ball. He didn't panic, didn't rush, um, and especially on that back line, there was no Konza, Mings, Torres, Carlos. Obviously, is gone. So, like, I know he's got Kamara next to him, he seems like a good talker, but
Mhm.
he's not got that voice next to him. And so for him to step up and really show that calmness was really good to see. And it just bodes well for our squad going forward because
Yeah,
we've got a really big second half to the season now. We know, been in the last 16 of the FA Cup, last 16 Champions League. We want to try and push on in this league now. And to have players coming back to fitness, to have players feeling confident is going to be so key to what we want to do. So really pleased for him. Really pleased for him. I thought he played very well.
and Emery's broken the curse. We got in the
He
fifth
has.
round, first time in 10 years.
That doesn't sound right, does it? That's not good, is it? Really?
No, it's not a great record, no.
I think so. So if I'm correct, so the last time we got through was with Tim Sherwood when we actually got into the final, right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so I mean that could be maybe that's a good omen. I don't know, but
It could be.
and there's some big teams have been knocked out as well. So if we have a good draw tonight, I mean, and I'm sure all eyes will be on the draw. If we have a decent one, who knows how far we can go?
I don't think it's a trophy. I want to see Villa win because we haven't won it since 1957. That's a long time for a club like Villa.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a very long time, and I think it would really look. The FA Cup is a very prestigious trophy and one that, as a fan, as a football fan, first and foremost, and as a Villa fan, like I would just love our club to win that. And for Emery as well, I think that would really kick off his. I mean, he's done wonders at Villa. Like he's always going to be known
Yeah,
as you know King Unai, but if he won a trophy, that would just be amazing, and it really sort of kickstart, this new Villa era that we seem to be finding ourselves in. So
Guys,
fingers
you
crossed.
know Emery. Emery got to make the most of it while he's at Villa. And it'd be nice to win a trophy to Emery.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be Emery, we would have remembered the Emery era. And for me, if we won a trophy, we would remember it.
Yeah, mate, you're making some really good points, Chad, and I think that being honest and being realistic is really good, because I think, look, he's not going to be around forever, is he? And as much as we want him to be,
Yeah.
that's not how football works. Look, he's got the setup around him, and with Monchi and with the sort of board and all the people that he knows, I think he'll be there for a while. But it's like anything can happen in football, and you make a really good point. We've just got to make the most of it and enjoy this moment, because I've never seen Villa play as well as we've played. For me, it was, I think, arguably John
Yeah.
Gregory at the time, and then when Martin O'Neill came in, those are the years that I
Oh, yeah.
remember thinking, "Wow, yeah, we're a force here." But then we just sort of like petered away. Whereas now it's like, I don't know. There's a much more um, realistic feeling of that we're going to achieve something great. So it's exciting times, but like you say, just keep grounded and just
Yeah.
enjoy the moment, enjoy the ups and downs, man.
So what is now in the fifth round? You start to believe because so if we win the next round, then you win the quarter final, then you get to the semis, you're at Wembley then.
It's really not far, is it?
And then
You know.
you can sort of get a run together in the cup.
Yeah. So do you say? So do you think now that we're through the fifth round, you think now we sort of, not that we didn't take it seriously. I don't want to be
Yeah.
wrong here, but like, do you think now it's all right? We've got a real good chance now, or do you think we have to win the next round and then it's like, right, this is our
Well, I think
time?
we need to grasp it all, I think, because we're fighting on three fronts. With three fronts. We got obviously the Premier League,
Yeah.
the FA Cup and Champions League. And I just think, try go as far as you can in all the competitions. But
Yeah.
now we're in but now we're in the fifth round. We should believe that we can go all the way.
I love this positivity and optimism. I'm with you on this. I think, especially because of the teams have been knocked out, and look, we're gonna have to play good teams, and I'm not knocking Villa's ability, but
Yeah.
it just makes it easier. If we get a good draw now, and we win and we go through, and it just looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? So, no, mate, I'm with you. But I think about that last FA Cup run that we had
Yeah.
10 years ago. I'm pretty sure in that run we beat Man City, we beat Liverpool.
Yes, that's it.
So yeah, no, I back us. I back us.
I like us to get another draw at home. Be
Yeah,
nice to get a home draw again.
yeah. I agree. Makes the difference, doesn't it?
Let's talk about John McGinn. I really
Mm.
enjoyed his performance. I mean, really, and also he out-muscled the opposition. And I thought he physically, he absolutely bullied those Tottenham defenders.
Do you know? Yeah, when I think we've said it before in this pod that when, like, John McGinn's very very much our tempo setter. Like,
Mhm.
if John McGinn's having a good game, then we tend to have a good game and we win. Um, he was a colossus yesterday. He was back to what we know. He was just everywhere battling. His passing was great. He was using his backside again. That famous McGinn bum shuffle.
Yeah.
He was just sensational up and down. Like, that was a real, like, proper captain's performance, that was. And I think he set the bar. So the players were like, right, we need to get to those levels. And he was actually my man of the match. I thought John McGinn was amazing.
It's really clever how he uses his body, and like you said, he uses his bum.
Yeah. Yeah. he's he's done it. I mean, I remember him doing it in the championship, and yeah, I sort of thought, eventually, like he'll stop doing it or players will work him out. But he's just such a unit. Like
Yeah.
he uses his body so well, no one can get around him, and he's strong, isn't
Yeah.
he? So yeah, it works well.
Every player on the pitch, they all played their part. Morgan Rogers, great reaction for the second goal. He's at the right place, right time. And he covered so much ground. And he got into some great positions.
Yeah, he's just growing, isn't he? He's getting better and better. And I think what's good now is that there's more competition for him. And I don't think his place is ever going to be in jeopardy. Well, not in the short term anyway. But I think it's good for him because we're not just going to rely on him. It's like he can do what he does, but he's not going to be our sole outlet. So I think for him, it's going to be good. So it takes off some of the burden. But like you just said, there's some of the positions that he gets into. That in that number 10, he's so dangerous.
He's one of
On
my
that,
favourite players.
yeah, he's quickly becoming one of mine. And it's just the way he speaks. He's so humble, so
Yeah.
mature. Really, really grounded guy. And I think the world's at his feet. Like he can go on to be as good as he wants to be. Like
Sky's the limit.
sky's the limit. He's got a hat trick in the Champions League, and he's scoring the FA Cup. He's scoring in the Premier League. He's making the England squad all within a year of coming to the Villa. And credit to him and credit to Unai Emery for spotting him and also coaching him. And it's I'm very, very fascinated to see where he ends up and where he gets to, like in life and his career. Do you know what I mean? Because I really do think the way he's going, he's just going up, 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 and up.
The upward trajectory.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
he was
often
very good.
mention this podcast about Marco Asensio. I mean, what a first touch. Don't you need that back here on that pirouette? His class.
Mate, do you know with him, he looked like we came on and everything he was doing just looked that bit quicker. Whether it was passing, whether it was turning, running, look like everything. He just seemed to. He was just that level above, and I don't mean that in a bad way against the Villa squad. The Villa squad, we've got a good squad and very good players, but Asensio he just seemed to be. He was so quick in his movements, and I was like, whoa! And when he did that touch, that back heel, him and Rodgers linking up, I actually felt sorry for the Spurs players. I thought they were just taking him for a bit of a ride, to be honest. And it was it looked like a bit of a training match at one point. They used to just passing around and nutmegging each other, and I was like, wow. So good.
The thing is, when you see a talented player, you just know straight away. You can see the difference.
What was the reaction like when he came? So when obviously you were there, when he came on and was doing all these flicks, and obviously I can see it on the TV, but you can't always hear. Was everyone just like, whoa?
I didn't know roaring him, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he was.
So I really enjoyed him.
He looks really good. Like, we've got to make the most of having him for the 4 months, like because he can really look like he can hurt teams because he drops in, doesn't he? Like he can sort of push out to the wing, then he'll drop in, and he looks like a bit of a nightmare to mark.
And what it is, he's won 3 Champions Leagues around Madrid before. He's got great Champions League experience. Yeah, that's what I like about him.
Yeah, you think about having someone like him in the changing room for Ramsey, for Rodgers, these players that want to get to the levels, and then I've got him sitting next to them, and he's like, yeah, I've won 3 Champions Leagues and play for Madrid. Like, what a player to have in the dressing room. Like that's, and for Rashford as well, because I think Rashford needs a bit of guidance, and for players like him to look up to him is really, really good. I'm just so happy that we got him, and again, I have to give credit to Emery because I know Emery had him at PSG and has been trying to get him for a while. So, he's got a really good pull. Emery has when it comes to players.
Did the Unai Emery University?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When's that going to open? We should commission that. Yeah,
So let's talk about Marcus Rashford.
yeah.
So he came on the second half. He got a great reception when he came on. So what do you Rashford's performance?
I thought his performance showed promise. Do you know, I was happy to sort of see him come off the left. Um, you know, he looked like he had a lot of energy about him. He looked sharp. You know what? He just looked like he was enjoying himself out there, like they all did. I think he came on at a good time when we were 2-0 up, so he could express himself a bit more. Um, you know, there is no doubt a talented player in there, and I think we saw glimpses. You know, nutmegging Pedro Porro, one of the first things he
Oh
did.
yeah.
You know, he looks a real threat down that left, and again linking up with the likes of Rodgers and Ramsey, Asensio, and um, you know, it just the fluidity with that sort of front four, front five, just is scary. And I thought Rashford looked good, so it was a good little cameo from him. And look, he just needs to keep to the levels that Emery wants and expects, because if he does that, you know, he'll have a really good sort of spell with us. And you know, long may it continue. But no, I was impressed with him. I thought Asensio stole the show, to be honest, out of the two of them. But I thought he was still very good and looked very lively.
So Marcus Rashford, he can play different positions across that forward line. He can play left wing, right wing, central striker. It's useful to have a player like that.
Yeah, again, I mean, it goes back to the point that you made earlier that Emery likes having players who are versatile, and who can adapt. And yeah, I think you're right. Rashford, you know, I know he prefers the left, but if needed, you know, he can go right up top. But let's not forget as well, Watkins wasn't even there. You know,
Well,
we're
yeah,
talking about
he's
all
good.
these amazing attackers, and Watkins wasn't even there. So I mean, it's honestly really exciting.
Well,
Like for this
exciting
second half,
actually, yeah.
yeah, to see like what combinations we can use and who's going to start there and who's going to start there. And I think the fact that we're in these, you know, we're still in the FA Cup, Champions League. It's a good way for us to rotate the squad a bit. So no, yeah, I think was he getting a good reception in the ground? I mean, obviously the TV was
Oh yeah.
showing him a bit, but obviously you were there, and was he getting a lot of good reception?
And they were cheering him in the warm when he was warming up as well.
Nice.
So I took a picture of him. He actually warming up near where I sit.
Oh wow,
And then when he
wow.
came on, then there's a big roar for the crowd as well.
I mean, that'll do in the world of good as well. I just think having that positivity from the crowd, and I think his time at United towards the end, not every Man United fan was like toxic towards him, but I think the relationship.
Ended summer.
Yeah, yeah, and I think, you know, some of that was his own doing, obviously, but I think it should be nice for him just to forget all that and have some positivity and hear the crowd chanting his name again. So no, that was yeah, I thought he was good. Did he look as quick on TV? He looked fast. Was he as quick?
He was very sharp.
Yeah.
I thought very energetic and very direct. As soon as he's got the ball at his feet, you sort of know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And he linked up with his teammates really well.
Yeah, no, yeah, he looked like yeah, he was actually passing the ball. And you know, and obviously that'll increase the more he plays, and the you know the sort of more he gets to know his teammates, that chemistry will get better on the pitch. So
And do you think Watkins and Marcus Rashford could play together?
yeah, I think the good thing about Watkins, I think he can play with anybody, because the one of the key things with Watkins is he's not selfish, which I know, you know, there's a lot of argument that strikers need to be selfish, but I think Ollie Watkins' game isn't just scoring goals. Like, he plays people in, he gets assists. So I think that's the luxury with him. I think he can play with anybody. So yeah, I 100% think that Rashford can play with Watkins. Again, though, it's like You've got Rodgers, Rashford, Watkins, Asensio, Bailey, Ramsey. Like, it's mouth-watering, isn't it? You think the combinations and oh
Yeah.
wow, we're very
I
lucky.
bet, I bet for a manager, I bet it's like a dream for a manager
Yeah.
to have that many options.
Do you think? Here's one for you. So obviously we sold Duran.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've only had like a few minutes of seeing Asensio and Rashford, but do you prefer that now that Duran's gone, we've got like obviously
Mhm.
more options with Rashford,
Yeah.
Asensio. Do you prefer that, or would you sort of rather have Duran off the bench?
Yeah, I prefer more options. Yeah, I personally would prefer more options. You go
Yeah,
back to John Duran. It didn't work playing with him and Watkins together. But you know with Rashford though, he's played for England before,
yeah.
so that could be an advantage as well, maybe.
I think that is a very, very good point. I think the difference, I know, because there were people saying that, well, you've got rid of Duran, but then you've got Rashford in, who's equally got a bad temperament. But I think the difference with having Rashford in is that, like you just said, he actually knows Watkins. He knows Ramsey to a point. I think Rodgers for England and like Konza, Mings. He knows a lot more of these players. So the chemistry, I think,
Oh yeah,
will be better on the pitch. It should be in theory. So I do think it will work well. So I think he'll play well with Watkins when that happens. Hopefully Watkins is back for Ipswich.
definitely.
So
I
yeah.
think Rashford is a good signing for the transfer window. It's a very good signing, I think.
Look, yeah, it's if I don't know what his ambitions is, and I think I'm hearing and reading a lot that he still wants to move to a Barcelona or an AC Milan come the summertime. So look, do you know what? If he uses Villa as a as a way to get him into the shop window, and in
Yeah.
doing that he helps us achieve what we need to achieve, then
See,
do you know
I
what? It
think
might.
he would struggle maybe abroad. I'm not sure. That's why I
Yeah,
think
no,
Villa suited to him. I think.
I agree. I do agree there. I think it just depends what he wants, and we there is that option to buy, but obviously it's all well and good having the option to buy him, but then he also has to want to be there. So I do think in the 4 months he'll really understand that Emery's a great coach, and if he really listens and focuses and executes what Emery wants, I think he'll turn around and be like, do you know what? Like, why would I want to be anywhere else when I've got a manager who believes in me and is actively helping
Yeah.
me? So we'll see. But you know what will be will be. Let's just make the most of him, and hopefully he can get us the
Yeah.
goals that win us the FA Cup, Champions League, and the Premier
That's
League.
what I want. So let's talk about the Champions League. So how
Mm.
did you feel about the Champions League squad announcement?
Um, I mean, look, I was well. I mean, firstly, I was confused because I kept hearing it was 4 players they can pick, then it's 3, then 4, then 3. So I was really unsure what was going to happen. I knew Garcia wouldn't make the cut. And as harsh as it sounds, I do think that was, he's going to be. We've got sort of, we've got Matty
Mhm.
Cash and we have Bogard, Konza, who can play right back if needed. So I think Garcia was sort of an obvious one. And then obviously I actually thought it might be Marlon because of you've got Asensio and Rashford on loan, so they're probably they're sort of for the here and
Oh
now.
yeah.
Um, so look, I thought it was harsh on Marlon. I really did. It was going to be harsh on any of them, but
I
I
was
thought Marlon,
surprised.
especially because he's signed permanently as well. I was a bit shocked. But if anything, yesterday I was watching Marlon's body language, and you know the fact that we scored 2 goals and he celebrated them both, was really happy, was really energetic.
Yeah.
I thought that's a strong mentality. That is, you've obviously had a good conversation with Emery, and I think going further in the FA Cup as well will only bode well because it means he'll get more starts. So I think it's sad for him, and I do think he could have offered us something different, but I think his mentality is strong enough. Whereas if it was like Rashford who wasn't in,
Yeah.
does he have the mentality to accept that? Probably not. So
Girls, you know, Emery, you have to make some cuts. I'm thinking you're not going to please everybody. You're going to divide some fans. But he's got to do what he feels right and what's best for the team.
Yeah. What did you think about that decision?
I was shocked about not picking Marner. The Garcia one, I expecting he's not that experienced yet.
Yeah.
Especially coming from the second division in Spain. So I don't think he's quite ready yet, Garcia. Also, in the eligibility rules as well, you got that, was it free? Does it?
Yeah.
Chose free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a few shocks in there, but it's got to be done. It's an important decision.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I think again it's also, I know we speak about it a lot, but testament again to Emery and his man management, because that wouldn't have been an easy conversation. And I
No, it
think,
would have been easy, though.
he'd had to pull him in and say, look, here's my reasoning. And, the fact that Marlon started yesterday and played so well, because he could have easily come out yesterday and just been like, do you know what? Like, I mean, I know he's a new signing, so he wouldn't want to do that. But at the same time, I'm sure part of his reasoning for coming to Villa was, oh, they're in the Champions League. This will be fun. But I thought it showed a really good side to his mentality. And I think, Emery, it wasn't long ago, was it? We was doing that, pointing at
Yeah,
a strong mindset, and I think we're going to get more of these players like Marlon now who are strong-minded. So it's sad, but I do think he'll be fine. Marlon, he'll handle it, and the further we go into the competitions, i.e. the FA Cup, he'll play. And I think if Watkins is out for a bit, he'll play as well. So yeah, no, a bit of a shock, but also I do understand it.
with Garcia, he still needs to prove himself and get more games under his belt.
Yeah,
He's not
agreed.
quite proven yet. Yeah,
Agreed. Yeah, he games like yesterday will do him no harm, and he'll play more in the cup. And when we make cash out, I think he'll probably keep playing in the Prem as well. So yeah, and look, it just means then as well, it gives the players more drive. Those ones who've missed out, like, right, let's get Villa back in the Champions League so we can play next season. We want to play in this
yeah,
in this competition. So hopefully it gives them a bit of drive to really try and get Villa back in there again, because that's what we all want, isn't it?
that's what he wants. And
Yeah.
you Multi Cash. When's Multi Cash? When's he back?
So he went off. Was it about 2 weeks ago? He went off now, and they said then it was like what, a
Yeah,
3 to 4 week thing, or maybe a 2 to 3. So I mean, I imagine he's close. I mean, who is? So we've got there's Cash, there's Barkley, Onana, obviously
yes,
Torres,
no.
Mings.
I
Um,
mean,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Cash, Barkley, Torres must be close. I know Konza went off yesterday, but they're saying that
shit.
might not be as serious. Watkins as well. So I mean, um, I would say if they're not back for Ipswich, maybe in a couple of games' time.
Yeah,
Maybe in a couple
I
of
think
games.
Multi Cash. As in the right back position, I think still is our best right back. Can you go back to instead about the Champions League?
Yeah,
But European football in general, he's got more experience because he played the Conference League as well.
yeah.
And I think defensively, Matty Cash is better defensively and going forward.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I felt really sorry for Cash, because I thought up until that injury, or his latest injury, I thought the three or four games previous, I thought he was playing really well. I thought he really stepped
I
up.
agree.
And I don't know where he'd been hiding this left-footed cross into the box. He'd been hiding that in his locker, because he'd done a couple of those. I think he set Ollie Watkins up against Arsenal with the volley, and
Yes.
he set somebody else up. But those left-footed crosses were great, and I just felt like he was really I don't know, he just felt really strong and assured. So then when he got injured, I was like, oh no, I feel a bit gutted for you, man. But no, I agree with you. I think he's our best right back, and I think he does get a lot of stick. I know he's not perfect at some of the things, but that's what Emery's there for. That's what we want as a fan base. Want players to grow and get better, and I think Cash has certainly got better since Emery's come in. Um, it's just it's very demanding system Emery has. So, it takes some players longer than others to adapt. But I think I like Cash. I think he's a good player. I think he's solid in many ways. So hopefully he gets back,
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
I like the way Cash, the way he tracks back as well. He's got all these his defensive duties and his attacking duties.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say he's like better at one or the other. I think he's all round.
Yeah.
I think he's a decent attacker and a decent defender. You've got like some defenders who are better at defending than attacking, or vice versa. I do think he's on average he's quite good in both areas. So yeah, and obviously with Garcia coming in now, and if Garcia keeps playing well, that should hopefully push Cash to want to play even better and to try and keep that position. So there's really good healthy competition for spots in the squad now. So we're lucky. We just need to get everyone back fit, and then really the second half of the season, if we've got a really fit team
It's
and everyone sort
crucial.
of and just keep them all. So I mean, I don't think he's going to rush anybody back. So he'll make sure that these players are going to be like ready to come back, so they don't re-injure themselves. Yeah.
It's good having competition for places. You got the players there, they seem they will fight for their place.
Honestly, it really is, and like I'll go back to that. Like I said at the top of the show, that the interview between Ramsey and Rodgers on BBC, like if their mindset is a snippet of the squads, then it's so positive because they speak about players and the competition for places, but they want it. They're there for it. It drives them on. So if every player has that sort of mindset, then that's what's going to make Villa good. You think about the Man United teams over the years when Fergie had them, and they had they had really healthy competition for places, but no one ever seemed to get annoyed.
No.
You sort of we're all important. We all play a role. We're ready to be called upon, and I think if we can sort of get that mentality throughout the squad, then that's only going to bode us well for the future.
So I'm going to go to my last point.
Yeah.
So as an Aston Villa fan, are you looking forward to the Champions League last 16? And how far do you think we could go in this season's competition?
I am. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very happy that we qualified for the group phase in the top 8 because I think we desperately didn't need any more games. So I'm so pleased that we got through that way. So now anything for, just being in the competition, for the first time in 42 years as a Villa fan that I've never seen, we've never seen Villa in the competition. That was
Great
enough for me.
achievement.
Yeah, great achievement. And for me, that was like, wow, we're in the Champions League. Just have fun. Now that we've got through the league phase, I'm like, do you know what? Just anything now is a bonus. I do think we have more than enough in us to get through the next round and get to the quarters. Obviously, it depends on who we get. Do I think we can beat anybody on our day at Villa Park? Yes. I think
Oh, yeah.
that the Villa Park leg is going to always be crucial. But look, I think solidly we'll get to the quarterfinals, and then from there, you can dream. We can dream. I think we've add in like Rashford and Asensio.
Good to dream.
We've got our attacking threat. You look at Bailey, Watkins, Asensio, Rashford, all of those, Rodgers. Those attacking players are enough to scare anybody. I don't care who you are.
We
Like if
can
they're in
give
your
anybody a game.
give anybody a game. If we've got our squad back fit and we've got decent players and Kamara's back in midfield and our defense is back to normal, and with those attackers, there's no reason why we can't give anybody a go. So I mean, yeah, I don't know, quarterfinals at least, and then I don't know. I dare to dream, man. Past there.
And it could be Borussia Dortmund, Atalanta,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what the other team is, but
Club Brugge.
that's it. I would prefer us to play Dortmund as in the atmosphere As in, imagine Dortmund fans at Villa Park.
Yeah,
And
they're
then,
bringing the noise.
but I think it'd be difficult going to their place though. But as in the
Yeah,
game, that'll probably be the best game, I think.
yeah, I think. And look, that's what we're in the Champions League for, isn't it? You know, to play these teams and for our fans to have these great away days at these great stadiums. So I think Dortmund would be a good tie. I think it'd be good fun. Atalanta are good. They're a
They're a
bit
good
unknown.
team.
They're a good team at Atalanta. I think they could be quite dangerous. Club Brugge, look, they beat us, and I think I do think 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, we probably beat them. Who's the other team? There's four. Club Brugge,
There's one more, I think. Yeah.
Dortmund, Atalanta, and flipping heck. The other one was
Is it like an Italian team or something?
it could be, yeah.
It's not Girona, is it?
That does ring a bell. I should know this really. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, true.
But yeah, all I know is all four teams were. I thought that we could. Dortmund would be the tough one, obviously. Well, they're all tough to an extent.
Oh yeah.
But I remember thinking all four teams are winnable. They're winnable games. So I think after beating Bayern Munich, I think we've proved to ourselves that look, on our day we can, especially at Villa Park, we can beat anybody. So we just got to be at it. So I don't fear anybody as such. But it's exciting though, isn't it?
I think it's amazing. But 42 years later, with the knockout stages of the Champions League, which is the pinnacle of football,
It really is.
especially it's our first season back, and we got in the top 8. I don't think that should go unnoticed.
No, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't. And it was a really, really good achievement. And the good thing as well is I think the Champions League games this week actually. So the those who made the playoffs. So I think like Madrid against City, and there was Bayern Munich against another team. Basically, there's going to be a couple of big teams that are going to get knocked out. So
Yeah,
which ever so slightly increases our chances even more of progressing further. So it's it's a really good format, really exciting, and Villa have more than played their part. We've not just been passengers in this. We've really given it a good go, and I'm really excited to see what we do and who we play against.
I mean, Emery, we got the right manager for this competition. And Emery, he loves Europe. And as we know, he's got a great record. Like winning Europa Leagues. He got Villarreal to a semi-final as well.
Yeah, I think everything that we've just said about Villa, the squad, and the fans and the atmosphere at Villa Park, all of that, plus having Emery, is that. I mean, that alone should give us a lot of confidence, because you just reeled off then his achievements in Europe and his experience in navigating Europe. And I think you've got to look at it, man. I think last year in the Conference League, I think we balanced the fact that we still qualified for fourth and we're playing in the Conference League for the first time for a long, long time. And I feel like we did that quite well. To this season, I know we've not been at our best. I know we've had a few injuries, but to be in the last 16, to still be in with a shot in the Premier League of getting that top 4, top 5, we're still there. We need to win a few games, but we're not like out of it. And to be progressing in the FA Cup again just shows how good Emery is at balancing these competitions. So he's a massive, massive reason of why we are where we are.
I mean, Emery, it's what he lives for. His whole career. He's like a winner. All he's got to do now is add that trophy list with Aston Villa.
Just get that trophy with Villa. I know. Just need to get that one trophy, and then it'll be the start.
Well, I was coming to the end of the podcast. We're going back to the game quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously Spurs fans were up there. And also they'll chanting Levy out as well.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, Tottenham. I think they've been very poor. Something very inconsistent.
Yeah, I do you know, and I don't mean this in a funny way or a horrible way.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for Tottenham yesterday. I thought their young midfield. I know Benton Cole's a bit more experienced, but I thought John McGinn gave them a lesson, which if you look at it from one way, that it's good for them to learn. But I thought he bullied them. And then I thought our front line, Rashford, Asensio, Rogers, Ramsey, Marlon, Bailey. I thought they were all having a right all time. Like it was almost like a training session at times, and I think they were really just giving the runaround to some of those young players.
Ange was going mad on the touchline.
Was he?
At the Tottenham players, yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy the whole injury. They have got injuries, right? Like that's fair enough. They definitely have got some bad injuries. There's no taking that away from them, and that does affect the squads. But like every team has injuries. We've had injuries. We've probably had just as many. However, like we've been fortunate that like we'll get like 2 or 3 out, but then 2 might come back, and it's like a rotation of injuries. Whereas Tottenham, annoyingly for them, they've had a lot out at the same time. So I understand the point, but every team goes through it. I don't think it's. I do like Ange. I like Big Ange. I just think Tottenham's a bit of a busted flush at the minute. I think anybody going in there struggles, and that's evident with the managers that they've had: Conte, Mourinho, Espirito Santo. Look at all those managers now. They're all doing really well. Conte's doing well at Napoli. Mourinho's doing okay at Fenerbahce. Is it Galatasaray? Fenerbahce? Where's Mourinho? Fenerbahce?
It's Fenerbahce. Is it Fenerbahce? I think it is.
Yeah, and then obviously Nuno at Forest is doing well. So like that, then to me is like maybe Levy and Tottenham. That culture's the issue. I don't know, but
I think there's no stability at Tottenham.
No.
Not at all, really.
It makes you appreciate how good how good we are from top to bottom with our director of football, our management, our players, our staff.
It stems from the top.
Yeah.
It stems from the top, yeah.
We have a good setup, so it speaks volumes.
And the Spurs fans, it's funny, the Villa fans, the wanted them up saying, you can get sacked in the morning.
Oh, were they? Were the Spurs fans in good voice, or were they like what were they like there?
They were sort of behind their team, but there was a few chats about Levy out. But they weren't really loud though. They were right behind their team. Good is in the FA Cup games. They sit in the North Stand as well.
Oh, okay.
As well as doing is they have extra allocation.
Okay.
So you can create some noisy atmosphere. But then we kept them quiet.
Yeah, I mean scoring in the first minute, that probably just sort of shut them up a bit, and then yeah, I do feel for them. I don't know. Do you think Big Ange is going to last the season?
Oh, I don't think he will.
Really? You don't think he will?
Well, he's under pressure, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm torn with this. I think he'll last because realistically, I don't know who else they're going to get, and they can't have Ryan Mason again.
Imagine, they can't have him. That's a good point.
I think he's filled in like 3 times now, so I don't know, but I think look, he's definitely under pressure. He's struggling, but I do think a lot. Levy can't just leave. They can't just get Levy out. It's not as simple as that. But I do think there's a lot behind the scenes that needs sorting out with Tottenham.
And the big thing was just showing at the end there, we couldn't keep a clean sheet. Matthias Tel.
It's I actually missed that goal because I was having to put my my daughter down for a nap, so I missed the last 5 minutes, which was annoying. But she slept well, which is the main thing. Yeah, I came back and I saw it was 2-1, and I was like, we just can't. We just don't. Are we allergic to
Clean
clean
sheets.
sheets? I thought Martinez actually as well made some really good. He made a couple of really good
He
saves in that
always
game.
did.
Um,
One of these days, we're gonna cover this show and say Villa have kept a clean sheet.
that needs to be the
Yeah.
headline.
That's what we need to get. We're gonna have to get a big headline.
Yeah, I mean, the day we keep a clean sheet, I don't know. It's definitely a problem because if you look at the league table and the goal difference, I think we're on like -3. So even if we've got to be
Mhm.
careful because even if we somehow make it to around the top 4, top 5, if it relies on goal difference, well, then we're going to be screwed because a lot of the teams above us, they're in the pluses and their goal difference is looking a lot healthier than ours. So that's something that we really need to correct the second half of the season.
Well, Aaron, I really enjoyed that positive weekly recap.
Yes. Likewise.
Well, thank you everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please remember to make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to give it a share. And make sure to give us a good review on our audio platforms. If you're listening via audio, through Spotify or Apple. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Thank you so much, Aaron, for your time.
Thank you for having me, Chad. It's always a pleasure. And you look after yourself.
I'm going to wrap up this episode with Villa Forever and Up the Villa.